Ridiculous.
Is that how you book things, Gareth? You know, when you talked about this fantasy wrestling promotion that you had in the sky at the time of the original All In, this is how you saw things going. You know, Jericho Ospreay contract signing on Dynamite, and then off to the races, mate. Biggest pay-per-view of all time this weekend, and we're ready, we're prepared, and we're good to go.
I've just come to realise that I'm just absolutely just fucking deluded, kind of like, and I just put too much faith in this. Like when I don't know if it was last time I was on Spotlight, but the Spotlight before, I still thought it's going to be Kenny and CM Punk. Of course it is. It's the biggest thing that they've got that they could possibly do, kind of thing. Of course they're going to like engineer this huge moment in front of like 80,000 people to be some like at least the start of some like, you know, mega storyline that's going to carry them through the next 12 months or something, based on we know what's going on in the background. I still convince myself in the same way as that, like I convinced myself that those seeds of that Cody Rhodes heel turn were still going to happen, like we talked about last night as well. But like because this is why my engagement with it is just so on the floor, because there's nothing pays off like at all. Like it's just shit just happens, and there's you know, like obviously, you know, got Matty on, and like you talk about, you know, everybody who listens to this ever knows what I think about WWE and like my thoughts on that. But at the very least, when you're going into something like, say, that SummerSlam card that was on the other week, and they can put the little video vignettes together before each of the matches, and then you go, all right, here you go, here's something that's been built over weeks or months on TV, and there's little like, you know, plot points along the way that can create a little 1 minute 30 video that gives you the backstory and gives you a reason to, you know, invest in this match that we're about to watch. Like, I'm like looking down this list in front of me, and I'm thinking, why should I care about like 70% of this card? It's just, here's some guys who wrestle, and they're going to have a wrestling match against each other. Sometimes it's a 6-man, sometimes it might be 1-on-1, sometimes it might be a 4-way, and they're just in there because. And then as well say, there's some fucking great wrestlers there, so we know in ring they're going to go out there, they're going to give them 20 minutes, and they're going to have a fucking match that's as fun as hell, and they're going to like work hard and save the day in like some instances. But that's not the point, is it? It's like it'll be good, but it could and should have been like fucking mega, especially when you've got this backdrop of 80,000 people and just the setting. There should be stuff that's like, you know, in the same way that for 20 years later, WWE are able to put out like vignettes that have like show Hogan and Andre with the Silver Dome in the background and things like that. All these there should be these groundbreaking things, but it just feels like it's just going to be, there was just that match, and like, yeah, there was loads of people there and it was brilliant, but like on to the next one kind of thing. Next row in my spreadsheet says, oh yeah, because I'd quite like to see him face him, or, you know, oh fuck, I've booked nothing for that, better have a battle royal or a tournament, or randomly this guy can just do attack him from the side while he's getting interviewed backstage. And there you go, there's our main event for the next pay-per-view or something. You're just like, come on, like, is it like, I've just lost my faith in him as a booker is absolutely on the floor. Like I've just got zero faith in his ability to book anything compelling or interesting. And unfortunately, I'm going into the biggest wrestling show after 35 years as a fan. More than that as a fan. kind of the biggest show I'll ever go to, and I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to go and see my mates for a few pints, like the day before and the night before, and and that's what I'm excited about. Like, not some awesome main event or some blood feud that's been paid off in the biggest setting of all time. Like, what?
Yeah. You're like two peas in a pod, you and Steph, by the way, because I think you're feeling very much the same way, aren't you, Steph? It's not.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like this is not how I envisioned this to be. You know, when AEW did their biggest show ever. Well, I never thought it'd be at Wembley Stadium, but once they told us it was there, like I didn't envision to kind of feel this way before. It feel like it's just another show. Like, this card is no better than any card I've been to in America. Like it's not, and it should have been. And for a company, a booker that holds off on so many big matches all the time, if there was ever a time to do it and to save something for, it was this show, and whatever he's like holding out for is just, it's never going to come. It's going to be another Cody situation where, like, when Cody left, we never got anything that we should have with him. But it's just, it's wild. And even, you know, what you were saying about WrestleManias that have been iconic and stuff, even like the kind of worst WrestleManias, like they usually have really at least one match where it's like two guys facing off that everyone's amped for, and usually it's the world title match. And I mean, we'll get into that, but I don't think that your big main event match should be two guys facing each other who for the past couple of weeks have been friends, you know, like playing dodgeball and working out together. You know, like if you think of the backdrop that they're going to have at Wembley, and you think of like Hogan, Andre, or big matches, any of the Undertaker's big matches, and you think of like the crowds behind them, there was a lot more of a storyline for a fight in front of a lot of people happening than MJF Cole, you know, being buddies, and maybe one of them will turn on the other. I mean, that's just not the kind of main event for something at this level. Like, it's really not.
We've learned the wrong lesson from SummerSlam '92. It's just like, oh, the mates, so you know, we'll do that again. We'll do something.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what it's in Tony's headcanon. That's in there somewhere, along with the other headcanon that he's not telling us about on his actual wrestling show. Like, this is
I know. I'm
like,
still sitting here thinking, who's Kota Ibushi?
Like as Simon says here, and you know, if only we were all like big Tumblr people, because we'd be loving this. There's all those little things you want, Gareth. They're all there in the story apparently, because it's the way Hangman Page drinks his beer. Apparently, that's a big thing. Whatever. But like Simon says here, at least the Yanks love the card, because that's the thing people keep turning around to us and saying, "You're gonna have a good day, but you're gonna have a good day, aren't you? It's gonna be a good little wrestling card, is it not?" And it's like, I think, as we've been saying on this podcast for a while, I think that fundamentally, like all of these little things, you know, the idea of like, what was it, 6 weeks ago, we were like, how do we not know the cards? And then 3 weeks ago, we were like, okay, how do we not know the directions? And then 2 weeks ago, we were like, where's the fucking story? And all those individual complaints were reasonable complaints, don't you know, and I think well-founded, when it wasn't just us making them, other people making them as well. But it was the overall that's the issue here. It was the fact that all of those little things were clues, and it felt like the closer we got to the show, the closer we were realizing, oh, this isn't gonna be the biggest show ever. They don't think of it that way. They're thinking of it as the nice little card before All Out. They're thinking of it as the, you know, I've literally had somebody say this on Twitter this week. Oh, it's not like a WrestleMania. It's more akin to a Saudi show, and it's like, well, one, I mean, you know, somebody needs to sit you down and make you read the history book and understand what Wembley is, and understand that America's not the only place with stadiums, and that we've got a lot of fucking stadiums, and Wembley is bigger than the rest of them because of the history and the prestige that comes with actually being there. But I think in that comment lied what I think probably is the take here. Like, even internally in AEW, it's like, it's a good tagline, the biggest wrestling show ever, but because of all those points you've both raised, they've never treated it like one, and that's been the most insulting thing. That's been what we've been getting wound up on week, to the point where, as me and JP said last week, we're just at the point of acceptance now. We just started laughing about it and just kind of going, can't even be angry anymore. It is what it is, you know?
And do you know what? Sorry, go on, Steph.
Well, just quickly, like, I don't think the Americans comprehend what Wembley is, because they've never been fucking showing on TV what it is even properly to make people think that this is a great venue. Like, I even think WWE would have done an amazing package, like better than they've done for, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, to show us what that is. Like, they think of like the package WWE would be trotting out every week coming up to Wembley to show us what Wembley is. AEW hasn't done that. Tony Khan doesn't have, like, he hasn't shown. I mean, obviously he's excited about it, but as far as what he's put on TV, it's not 1% of what Ryan Reynolds gives you in Welcome to Wrexham when Wrexham are playing Wembley. Like, he's there going, like, I could miss this match. My team's playing at Wembley, and you're like,
great little Ben Foster story this week as well. Loads of storytelling going on over at Wrexham. I know what they're doing.
If only if like any of the wrestlers made it like that. Like, you haven't even had a wrestler say to the other, like, I have to challenge you at Wembley. Like, this is where it has to be. No one's even said that. Like, even if I don't know, I think that could have been used for many of these, like FTR and the Bucks, and even, you know, like fucking Ospreay could have at least said during like that terrible segment on Dynamite, like, tell us why, if he wants this match with Jericho, like, why in Wembley? Like, someone give us a little like sell for this.
Yeah, that's the thing. And that word Wembley, Gareth, it doesn't mean anything on AWT because they've never made it feel anything. That's the reason. People don't understand why this is important, because AEW never. It's another one. It's in Tony Khan's head canon. He knows exactly why Wembley's important. He does know that, but the rest of his company and, you know, him and his booking aren't treating it like that, and that's a big part of the problem.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those where you look at the money that he spends in other areas as well to get older, like music and things like that. That's something where I'm sure he could have been like buying bits of footage and things like that and showing like what a massive event at Wembley looks like, you know, like concert footage or something like that, where there's been a packed out Wembley, or like boxing or something like that, and showing like the fucking vastness of it and the volume of people in there, and it's dark and everyone's like, you know, got the lights going and stuff. To the average AEW fan who watches their product like week in, week out, and has watched their pay-per-views, it's immediately going to look 400 times more impressive than any AEW show that they've ever seen before. It's going to look more impressive than 75% of WWE shows or something like that they've ever, you know, seen presented as well. So again, it just there's just little small just details like that they could throw into the mix, but it just, to me, it just smacks again of just like your classic short-termism that comes with Tony Khan and comes with AEW, in that, like, it's like, yeah, we've sold 80,000 tickets and here's a bucket load of shit, fucking eat that kind of thing, like that we're putting in front of you now that you've bought your ticket already. But they're not thinking about next time. If this was Boss, if this was brilliant and it was built really well and the card was fantastic, you'd be like, oh, I can't wait for the next one. Like this, I know I'm going to have a good day. I know I'm going to go and I'm going to enjoy it. And it's, you know, then it's a wrestling show, big stars. I'm going to be made up to seeing some of these people for the first time, or just seeing them in this setting, people I've seen before. But I tell you what, if they announce one next year, I won't be buying a bloody ticket until they've started to announce matches and things like that. And I bet any money that there's, you know, 20,000 of that crowd are going for the novelty just because it's wrestling at Wembley kind of thing. Sure. There's going to be a big chunk of people who were in that first wave of ticket sales who, was it 25,000 they did in the first week or something like that? We all just bought tickets like immediately. Yes, AEW Wembley, this is going to be amazing. I'd love to know what proportion of that 25,000 will be in the same boat as well when they go, well, hang about, I've just dropped like best part of 600 quid or 700 quid there to go to London for the weekend to buy a ticket for this show, hotels, travel, the booze and whatever, food and all that comes around with it. Next time you kind of be going, do you know what? I want to make sure that I'm actually getting my money's worth here, or I maybe just spend 20 quid and sit at home and watch it on Fight because I've been to Wembley now and I've seen it in that setting. And, you know, surely the idea is you do it and it's so good that you grow next time and you've got 90,000 there next time. But I'd be bloody amazed if they do. This very much sort of like smacks of, you know, people talk about the like the delayed effect of things like TV rating and ticket sales and stuff like that. This feels like the sales ahead of like where the perception of the company is and things. You know, it's almost like you look at those TV ratings and there's the downturn that they're on. This doesn't, you know, the television product over the next 12 months. There's no reason that they've given us in the last 18 months to suggest that that's going to improve to the level that makes you think like, God, this is going to be booked amazingly and next time it's going to be outstanding and everybody's got to be there and it's going to be this, you know, mega, you know, all in three kind of thing. Like that to me, they've taken away my confidence in the product for next time now, definitely.
I think I was just going to say, like, sorry. I feel once it is over, it is going to expose more of those problems, like what Gareth was talking about. Like the ratings are down. I heard you talk earlier about like Collision too. The ticket sales are down for their domestic shows, like for All Out as well. And I think once they don't have Wembley to like hang their hat on, and to me, just with the way they've they've gone about everything, like building the card, even just the promotion of it. I heard you guys talk about that's been nothing to write home about. And I think we'll see on the day, because I do wonder if they're going to be able to produce like something that lives up to the spectacle of Wembley, if you know what I mean, as far as like production, you know, lighting, pyro, all that sort of like those WrestleMania frills that you would get if it was WWE. And it has made me start to wonder if, yes, they sold 80,000 tickets for it, but as a company, were they actually ready to do this show? Like the demand was there, but were they actually ready, you know, when it comes to booking, promotion, like all the behind the scenes stuff? You know, it does make me
getting the merch over.
Yeah, because it's fair enough selling the tickets, but can you actually produce the show? And I wonder, especially with the fact they're doing a stadium stampede match, because we all know what their camera work's like watching at home, and I'm really not sure on that one. Good luck, guys.
But that's the thing, Matt, isn't it?
I was just going to say, this must be music to Matty's ears. Listen to all these AEW fans slagging the product off for half an hour.
I'm enjoying it, not in like just about, you know, it's fascinating to hear. It is. It really
We're gonna have a good. This is the thing, because again, we've had them in the comments of the previous YouTube videos. You're gonna have a good time in the day, yes, because you guys both make great points about this is gonna mask AEW's problems. The problems of the show are gonna be masked because by hook or by crook, on Sunday the show's gonna happen. The good wrestlers are gonna get in there and have good wrestling matches, as we keep saying. Yeah, the fans are gonna be great because of course they are. Amazing. There's 80,000 plus British and traveling fans who are going to be in one place who are going to make this a special atmosphere, and it's going to be, despite himself for Tony Khan's sake, it's going to be one of the greatest days in wrestling history, despite itself, and it's going to appear that way, and we're all, like, people are I'm getting it out there now, I just want to get it out, Matt, before it happens on the preview show, like, yes, the show's going to be good. No, on Monday morning, when you come to me and you're like, told you it was going to be good, you haven't proved anything, because a show can be good on it. How many Fight Club Pro shows did we go see that were good on the night that were booked 10 minutes before it happens? You know what I mean? It's like, it's not the prestige and the stakes and the storytelling that could have been done to make this something extra special that suits what you of all people, Matty, have spent a couple £100 on being there for isn't there, is it? We're going to have a nice little day out. We're all going to see each other, have a boss time, but it's not going to be the antidote to the problem Steph and Gareth have said.
No, but that's right. Like, even when it, as I say, got announced and the actual Wembley Stadium I was like, you know, wow, they're actually doing Wembley Stadium. I thought they're going to get their heads together. They're going to put on the biggest show. It's basically what you were saying. You know, that's all I can literally say. Like, I was expecting the biggest matches, the best possible storylines for me to go, fucking hell, I'm actually scared that these could do this a lot or like sell over here more times and stuff like that. But no, I am a casual compared to, like, you know, especially you, Steph, and you, Benno, like, with AEW. But it's
sorry,
like,
I used to be.
He's done with modern wrestling, like, basically. But it's like, I'm actually just taking this off, apart from what we've all said about seeing each other, having a great time. I'm taking it off for the stuff like, I've never been to Wembley. I'm taking that off just to visit the stadium. I've never seen Kenny Omega live. Or granted, it's not like a great match, but I'm just ticking that box. I haven't seen MJF live. I'm a big fan of MJF, which we'll talk the card in a minute. Can't wait to see him and see what they do with that storyline. So there's little nuggets of, like, just little personal tick-offs that I'm going for this. Because, like, as you use, it's certainly not for this card. It's not, like...
No. Absolutely not. And as Will's been saying in the chat, you know, you compare it to other big AEW shows, you know, doesn't really doesn't hold up to the numbers and stuff. Although Tony Khan did say, Steph, on the media call today that, you know, we got a trios match in the main event of the original All In, so why is everyone complaining?
How shit's that though? How crap is that? It's so bad.
That's like, sometimes I'm like on these calls or even in the in-person scrum, and I just want to talk back. Like, I wish it was like a real conversation where you could talk back, because, you know, like, if one of you tried to justify it by saying that, I'd be like, hang the fuck on me. Like, Kenny Omega wasn't in a trios match, but unfortunately when it's Tony Khan, you can't say that back to him, can you?
No,
They should just do it at WrestleMania every year. WrestleMania 1 was a tag match, wasn't it, in the main event? Oh yeah, we just have a throwaway tag. Just have a throwaway tag match at WrestleMania every year for the main event.
But it's even like Will saying there, like they've got an international title. Why isn't that a big match at this show? Like,
that's wild.
It's not
the international title one is wild.
It's little stuff like that.
It's meant like at Orange Cassidy, doing these defenses every week, and then like Tony just ran out of ideas, so we just like stopped that whole story. When you were coming up to like the biggest show ever that happens to be in England, international, it's like they had to have them defend it in Canada, but not England. And it's international,
Bizarre.
when like Pac has brought that title to Rev Pro before, but yet Orange Cassidy's not defending it at Wembley. Like that's wild. And I mean that does show poor planning, because something like I don't want to say if I was booking, but if I was booking, like Orange Cassidy's opponent for Wembley would have been set, sometime a long time ago, and that would be what we're building towards.
Probably
easy something to do.
That's
That's not
such
even
an easy win. Yeah.
You probably wouldn't have done an Anarchy in the Arena in May, would you? You know what I mean? Like you would have been like, you know what? We've got a bigger stadium coming up, so maybe let's just hold that.
That's the one for me, Benno, because he said
Georgia?
at press conference, didn't he, that's going to be the signature match for Double or Nothing. So he's doing another one so quick. That's like just shows you.
That's just so wild. I think when the stadium Stampede announcement just annoyed me, because I knew when I went on Twitter, people would be like, I'm so excited for Stadium Stampede. And okay, like Stadium Stampede is super cool, and I would be excited watching it. But to me, like just adding that to the card did feel like a Hail Mary. Like, let's give them something that sounds cool that people will be excited about, like calling it Stadium Stampede. I was just like really, like you're pulling this trick out of the bag in Wembley.
Yeah, that's right.
And what that does, though, as well, is it means that when I'm like looking at the people, it means that I get to see Eddie Kingston, I get to see Orange Cassidy, I get to see Mox, I get to see Wheeler Yuta, I love, but I don't really, do I? Because I'm not going to be able to fucking see them, so I don't get to see them.
No, you're getting 10 singles matches, Gareth. I don't think you understand how this works. Like, there's 10 different, you cut it up. Is that not?
Benno, this won't be like Vegas when we were following them around the arena. This won't be like Vegas.
I love Anarchy in the Arena, but that's it. That's Anarchy in the Arena. Stadium Stampede, supposedly a different thing.
I just think imagine if they put a pre-taped video up. Just imagine.
I was thinking that, Steph, if they start it like in, I don't know, Benno, that'd be the icing on the cake for me. That.
Like the last, when I was at a Dynamite in, I think it was Sacramento, they showed us pre-tape of Hobbs and Wardlow, and that was a very small crowd booing. What's 80,000 people booing a video screen gonna sound like,
It'll be like the Boiler Room Brawl, won't it? Taking a man shot in the day, and then they just spill out all 10 of them or 12 of them.
Maybe Phoenix can do the match. You can do it on closed circuit. You know what I mean? From
he gets stuck out in the free tape bit, and then he doesn't come out in the stadium. Yeah,
good work out. Well, on that note, we should get into the card itself, and we'll do that along the way. It's a daunting task to go through this show of shows and this card of cards. But we're gonna do our best, because again, we all are excited to be there on Sunday and have a fun day out, which will be cut short by the fact that we got to go get over to Wembley for the 3:30 doors. That'll be fun. Just the organisation of it. Are they going to get everyone in before 5? Are they going to get everyone out before 11?
That's what I'm looking forward to.
We'll see what happens there, won't we?
I'm going to be so pissed if I miss the after party, but like, how long is that scrum going to go? Because I think there's going to be a lot of, like, I don't want to call them rando, but rando, journalists that aren't wrestling journalists. And I know how long there are when I can literally name everyone in the room. But I think it's going to be a packed room, and it's going to go on all night. And you're all going to be at the after party, and I won't. I'll be so annoyed. because I want to come.
And
I
there'll be
want to
no
come to
water,
the
no
after party. No, there'll
Do you
be no snacks or nothing. I just I
We'll
want an after
be
party.
stuck on Wembley Way. Don't worry about
Yeah,
that.
we won't be able to get out of it.
If it's anything like after the rugby league or the NFL and things like that, you just have to stand on Wembley Way for about a fucking
Keep it
hour
open
and
late for
crawl
me,
up there.
please.
So you'll be all right. You'll
Make
probably
sure I
there
get
at the same
in.
time.
I want into
we'll
the
be at the
after
front of the
party.
queue by the time you get
Okay,
out.
I'll join you there then.
Oh,